What's up, everybody? This is Edward back with another video. It's been a couple of days since I did a live stream. I've been on a couple of live streams. Shout out to everybody that thinks, I need to. Man, you need to let other people talk, man. You need to fucking let people answer the question, man. You need to shut the fuck up, man. You know, some of y'all understand. A lot of y'all understand that's constructive criticism, and that's fine. That's why I try to, pop in and out on a lot of these streams and come in good doses. So it is. I get it. It is what it is. But I'm gonna do what the fuck I'm gonna do. You know. So it is what it is. But I'll say this: I didn't want to really do a live stream on the Kobe situation. Um, I had my reasons, but I was definitely, here to support a lot of brothers that wanted to do it. Ramil, fantastic. I was on Arts thing. If you check out the community tab, and that was actually a really good conversation. Some of the stuff BGS is, done because real talk. I mean, and I'm gonna keep and to be honest, a lot of the coverage has been really good coverage. Like the coverage that Ramil did was really good coverage. It talked about a lot of stuff like helicopters, um, like the actual thing with the rotors. And now what's funny is it's starting to reports are starting to come back about like, what the helicopter was like and stuff like that. And it's been some really overall coverage. I'm actually really proud of the Manosphere because it's a couple of not a couple, but quite a few videos in between them. Like you're gonna get really everything you really need to know. Very very universal information, not just some black woman stuff, and it really shows what the potential of the Manosphere really is. Um, from a sports standpoint, from an actual technical standpoint, to asking the honest question about how a lot of black people. Because let's be clear here, this is not an everybody situation, but it is a sample size. Anyway, I want to stay focused on this video because that stuff has already been covered. You've already heard that. And even what I'm about to say right now, you've kind of already heard, but I'm going to put it in my own words. Okay, so here's the deal. This is kind of about, not really about Kobe, kind of about Kobe. It's going to piggyback off of it. Now, you see the title of the video. So I was on Arts. Shout out to Art of Igmore. Make sure y'all subscribe to him. Let's try to get him over 1,000 so you can get access to the super chat, as well as get access to doing, community posts and stuff like that. So y'all make sure y'all go over there and give him a subscribe. Um, and it was this, young girl, and yeah, she was 22 years old, young lady. And shout out to her. And I'm gonna say that because she kept her. One thing, when you look after the fact, she probably kept her composure. Didn't get loud, didn't get stupid, didn't get retarded. Despite she was getting some pretty good heat on her, even though all her shit was being called out. But she kept her composure, and I always give credit for that because most of these women, especially these older women that are like north of 30, they can't do that. They can't handle criticism at all. They just charge it. And I don't agree with nothing she was saying because the shit she was saying is on some goofy shit. And this really video is really more speaking to her. Now I'm gonna re-put a video up on my community tab that Glenn and Cameron did called The New Black Girl, because it really speaks to something that a lot of these black females need to kind of adhere to. I'm talking about these Z's in particular, in order to, I guess, get the best results for them. Because at the end of the day, she was upset. She wasn't upset, but her grievances were really like the grievances you're gonna see a lot of Z's that don't want to get it are gonna have, Zillennials, because, and it goes back to what I'm about to talk about in this video. So let's start with that, and then I'll move forward. So first of all, I should honestly, I should have titled this video "Dear." I might retitle this video because I actually came up with a better title, like "Dear Black Female Zillennials." It's over, and quite frankly, black women killed it. Maybe, but here's the deal: the public relations. Black women are the worst public relations people. They're the worst representatives for their own public image. What they do, that what a lot of the complaints that we have or things that we've mapped out, uncover all of that, at the end of the day, what it comes down to is if you take black men off the table and you look black women as like Black Female Inc., let's call it Black Girl Magic Incorporated. Black women are the worst public relations experts or representatives for that brand. If you look at African American women as a brand, because when these women start saying they're Nigerian, they start saying they're Afro Latina, they start saying they're Ethiopian, that's a brand. That's a brand. It's not race is a brand, ethnicity is a brand. Because, when I say that is, if you say white women, there's images that come up regardless of who it is or whatever. If I say Irish women, if I say UK women, if I say women from the like Mediterranean women or Italian women, if I say, black women, Jamaican women, Haitian women, women from a certain city, women from a certain region like Northeast or West Coast, like whether they're race, like no matter how I slice it and dice it, there's, even though certain images you're gonna have, certain brands you're gonna have more stronger like association with than others, it's still a brand. If I say Paul, these things have images, and people, I'm not gonna say overall, but people have certain ideas about what that is, depending on who they are. But there's universal ideas too. And if you look at that from a black female perspective, and you look at, okay, why do black women have such a bad image? You would be absolutely deluded to try to say it's everything but black women. Even the media promotion that black women always want to talk about is promotion they support. It's promotion for the most part they support, and they support financially with ad revenue, and they support it by watching the TV shows that reflect it. Like, seriously. Like, this idea that it's a whole bunch of mixed women and it's not like no black women, that's ridiculous. That's not true. I mean, we just had movies like Queen and Slim and stuff like that. But my point is, they support a lot of the stuff they're complaining about. They power it. And so when we go into this Kobe Bryant situation, which, to be fair, this is, I'm not going to argue how many women have these feelings, but these women are being outwardly bold about it. It's like, it's that kind of 20% of black women that are like the worst of the worst. They're the most goofy of the goofy, right? Um, and these are women that, number one, they have no chill. Number two, they've drunken all of the feminist Kool-Aid. They've drunken all of the "it ain't my fault, I'm a victim" Kool-Aid. And the biggest thing that I would probably that probably annoys me about the Kobe situation is the fact that you don't hear enough black women that's really counter programming that. You don't hear enough black women that's going out of their way. These women that want to act like they're leaders, the women, like, for instance, I'm gonna say it, like your Nicole Michelle's, your April Masons. Nicole, I guess, said that she was gonna do a video talking about the interracialism. I don't know what was said, but what is being said, this is not a good look for black women from a femininity standpoint. That's number one. Number two, when you look at April Mason, and I have kind of held back a little bit on this, but y'all know the picture I put on my community tab with April Mason and Crystal and Kerrison. So that literally came up in a 48-hour period before this tragedy happened, right? And that's fine. I mean, people can interview who the fuck they want to interview. But the point that I made And to be fair, I think from what I didn't listen to the video, so don't take me in my word, but the video is out there. It's on April Mason's channel. That April Mason was advocating for black love, and then Crystalline Carrison was advocating for, the brand she advocates for. Here's my thing. And Crystalline Carrison is in Los Angeles. And by the way, April Mason's from Los Angeles, even though she lived in Atlanta. But she lived in Los Angeles for a long time. She's from Los Angeles, or from California. That area. And I find it extremely interesting that even though they did that interview, and they said they can be they can still be united as black women, that you can look at that. I'm fuck black men for a second. This is not even about Kobe. You have to understand, other non-black men see that shit. And I don't care how much they don't like black men, they don't like the BBC, they're cool with black men being where they are. That's not a good look, because nobody respects that. O'Shea has this thing where he likes to say that non-black people respect you being with your own. They don't really care like that. If there's something that you can do for them that's of value to them, they're not gonna look at the fact that you're with a non-black woman and then say the value that you have is nullified. That's not true. Not to the extent that O'Shea tries to say it. That's something that he says. That's like a worldview he kind of tries to have, but that's not as true as he says it is. But he'll say, non-black men have respect. Non-black people have respect for people that's with black people. It's not true. Just, it's not as true as what he's talking about. Maybe from a political standpoint, but from a one-on-one standpoint, they don't look at it like that. And a lot of black women kind of believe shit like that. They believe that I lost my train of thought there, but my point is this idea that let me go at it this way. This idea, oh yeah, that's what I remember. Yeah, I remember it was early in the morning. This idea that you know, um, you can throw your men under the bus like this in this way, and then non-black men are not gonna, that's not gonna look bad on you. Is like some of the biggest delusions that a lot of sisters have. They have this belief that they can basically get on major news and media, and they can walk into the quote unquote white supremacy system and say, my man, they can join everybody in saying black men ain't shit, and then act like they can absolutely separate themselves from black men. That folks ain't gonna look at them funny style because you saying your own men ain't shit, and act like that has nothing to do with the reflection on you at all. You're sitting like, and so what other women don't understand, they may not have these feelings or they may not want to voice them, is when you got women out here that's being spread out on social media talking about, well, that's just gonna go to the Mexicans and go to this, even though Kobe's kids are technically biracial, and technically they're not even biracial like half white. They're technically they're more black than they're not. They're more melanated than they're not. Um, by the way, that's like, nobody said Tracy Ellis Ross's wealth went to white folks with Diana Ross because she's mixed. Alicia Keys is mixed. I mean, that's goofy, and it's a clear I could do, don't make me fucking go and give you a list of all the all the famous celebrities that's got white fathers that's with black women that you don't even ever hear their blackness really questioned like that. Don't have me bring that up because there is a list. There is a fucking list. So these women want to say all this stuff disparaging, and keep in mind, this is the mutt maker argument, by the way, and you're disparaging his kids. Real talk. What you're really saying is his kids are not in the black community because, quite frankly, most likely his kids ain't gonna choose y'all because of shit like this. But anyway, the point is, This makes Black Women Inc. look bad. This makes Black Girl Inc. look bad. I'm not even talking to black men. Fuck black men. I'm talking about even the non-black men. Like if I was gonna look at this, if I was gonna look at this from a perspective of Crystal and Kerosene and her brand of Beyond Black and White, how does this help her brand? What image does this say about Black women as a whole? Because here's the thing, you don't get to say you're different. Women are taken for the most part as kind of an overall package, and most women understand this. This is why women, they have something that they, like white women call it white trash, because they have to separate themselves from the negative images that can be associated with their group. This is why, for the most part, you don't see women buying together over other women that are not like them, even within the same race. This is why things like class matters. Because if you basically co-sign only in the black, really only in the black community, do Hispanics do it too a little bit, but only really in our community do you really see the upper class females actually race to the bottom, trying to act like have this center of gravity of ratchetness that they try to associate with, because they assume the ratchet chick is the freer chick. The ratchet chick is the chick gets to do what she wants. This is why a lot of people gravitate. This is why a lot of black women gravitate towards a Cardi B, because they see Cardi B as like this symbol of freedom. I don't care what nobody thinks. I do what I want, and I get financially rewarded for it. I'm a stripper. I'm a hoe. I'm all of that. They see her as like the goddess spirit of like freedom. And that's what a lot of black women identify in very favorably to Cardi B. I know it. I know it when they say it because I can see it. I can see what the values that they see in her. And I'm not saying every black woman likes Cardi B, but Cardi B was powered by like millennial black women, if not a little bit of the older millennial black women. But the point is with this is y'all got a public relations problem. And if I was gonna, I got cousins that are like Jessica's age. My youngest brother is 23, so he's 1 year older than Jessica, who's on Art's thing, and he dates non-black women, black women, like black women, right? And the thing that you have to understand is the women that came before you, the millennial women, the Xer women, they fucked it up. They want to do what the fuck they want to do. It's really kind of a victim standpoint thing, but at the end of the day, they've destroyed it. I mean, it wasn't like 100% on point to begin with, but oh man, they just took it and just wiped it out. So what a lot of these Z's are gonna have to understand is they have an upper battle to deal with because it's done. The dudes that are older than them, let's say like I'm a to them I would be an OG. By the time she's what 23, she's 22. Before she's 30, I'll be 40. I'm 33. So I'm telling you, somebody that's going into the middle 30s, but still can technically say I'm in the older part or the younger part of 30s. These dudes that are like what my brother's age, my middle brother's age, who's 29, who's 28, and it'll be 29 this year. Like this like in the upward 5 years upward of them. They don't care, and the dudes that are their age don't care. They don't care. They don't care. And I asked her a simple question if y'all wasn't over there. And the question, yeah, what's up? What's up, Sam? I am. What's up, NC Worker? I am Mike, Jonathan, made by Ruben, class young man, um, man code, every other race. And I date mostly black women. I come from my three brothers, we date mostly black women. So and that's not like by choice, that's not by pro black. I'm in North Carolina right now. And so it just is what it is. My middle brother's been with the same chick for a couple of years now. Um, my youngest brother, deals, black different black chick all the time, and I date mostly black women. So I mean, I come from a family, whatever. But and we were never it was never that expectation was never set that we needed to do that either. By the way, but the point is, um, that's the truth. And like I said, I should have put the main title of this video. I might re-edit it. Dear Zillennials, they fucked up. But when I'm listening to some of the stuff that she's saying, and I understand that I over talk and stuff like that. It is what it is. I'm gonna accept that criticism. But I asked her some key questions. Like if I actually clipped that video out, there was some key questions that was asked. And that's another thing we need to start doing in the manosphere is we need to start getting good at clipping some of these clips out and then giving and then linking it to the overall video so people can get the video if they want to get the full context, but clipping it. And I asked her a simple question. I said, so you say that black women are for black men. So tell me why black women are the best option for black men. Tell me that. I said that because I want to hear what she has to say about it. It's an open-ended question. Her first answer, her only answer, because we never explored that. Her first answer, her only answer was because of nature. Not to mention that she's quote unquote college educated. So not to mention that if you look at history, global history, you look at any ethnicity because see, her idea of nature is based on race. Now, first of all, black people, humans, race is a social construct. Now, I believe in black people being with black people, but I'm not under any illusion. And sometimes I understand that people can use that in the way they try to use it is on some fuck shit, but race is a social construct. The concept of race is really about 400 years old. Before then, it was ethnicity, because humans just didn't have that kind of movement to be caring about it like that. So I can tell when she says that she's basing that really on a racial construct and not any real kind of education. That's some feminist bullshit. I understand when I hear it. I can literally hear the Paris Milan in a lot of some of the shit that she was saying. I can hear it. I don't even listen to Paris like that, but I've heard her long enough back in the day to know where that's talking. And it's like, okay, so you're in college, so you're a logical thinker, and you're honestly telling me that of all the things, only nature is the only thing you are. Basically, you're ceding to me that you don't even know why black men should be with black women other than just because. That's what she said. Nature. Now I'm gonna tell you straight up. You asked me that question in reverse, saying, "Well, why should black women choose black men?" I mean, I'm gonna give you a simple answer because black men are, quite frankly, the only motherfuckers that's gonna tolerate your bullshit, and you know that because you all change when you deal with other men. I mean, I don't even need to go into deep detail. Black men are the only ones that's gonna tolerate your bullshit at any kind of level. No other race is gonna tolerate the shit that y'all do. I don't even care if you calm the fuck down. What they demand for other races of men. So we're your only option. And if you don't believe that, I invite you to go date the nearest white man that you want to. Go date the nearest Aaron, I'm not trying to disparage Hispanic men, but I'm looking at Aaron Hernandez documentary, Aaron Hernandez. I invite you to do that. Go figure that out for yourself. Don't listen to me. Don't believe me. I'm not afraid of saying that. I'm not afraid of telling black women, y'all need to date out so y'all can figure that out for yourself. We're their best option. Because I know that. Because I know them other dudes ain't gonna tolerate that. Because they're not gonna come off their shit for you. Why would they? Why would they? I mean, and also this kind of idea that other men don't do this. White men spread their seed more than any other race other than black men, but it's not seen as doing that. So whatever argument that you have, nature. Like, first of all, where the fuck did you even get that from? Second of all, you're in Los Angeles. Third of all, black people are not pure in the United States. We're literally a created ethnicity, literally bred into existence. And I know that's an inconvenient thought for a lot of people, but that is very true. We're not even the same as other slaves that came here. In as far as in the Americas, we're not the same as black Afro Latin, because Afro Latinos can mean a lot of different things. You got the actual they're more African, then you have the ones that are more mixed. So I mean, when you actually look at it, and I understand that she's young, even though 22 ain't young like that. Come on, she ain't like 18 or 17 or some shit, but she is younger. So and she was very at least candid with her bullshit. Not and she said what she honestly thought it was. So I'm not gonna beat up on her too much. But the reason why I'm even bringing her up is she's like a prototypical example of what not to be. Um, and I'm not talking about beating her up. But what I'm saying is, if I have younger cousins at her age, and I'm like, look, if you all want the outcomes that you all want, this is how to achieve it. What you're doing is not going to achieve it. Those mindsets are not going to achieve it because those are mindsets of women that have lost. And if you don't want to be a woman that's like that, you kind of better get it together. Because I got a couple cousins that'll talk like that. It's about 50-50. And the difference is the other cousins will check them on that. And like I said, black women are best dealt with by other black women. So when you hear black women say the stuff they said about Kobe, most black women need to understand this is not, even if they feel that way, this is not a good look. This projects the image of black women are just some bitter, angry bitches. This does not help other races of men want to deal with you all. This does not help other black men wanting to deal with you all. Because most of the dudes that would actually agree with this have kind of agreed with what he said, what she said, or what some of these women have been saying about Kobe. I don't understand how his legacy is basketball. That's his legacy. That has nothing to do with who he slept with. Michael Jordan is got black kids. That obviously but he also has like one non-black kid. So his legacy is tarnished. Like this stuff doesn't. This is goofy. It really is. But it just speaks to jealousy. It speaks to anger, and it's pathetic. It quite frankly, it's just pathetic. And yeah, a lot of these guys are angry. I am disappointed. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't surprise me. And by the way, to be fair, it is a lot of it's white women throwing Kobe's name under the bus too. I'm not gonna act like I don't see that, but that's expected. But to be fair, for people that want to play SYSBM, Kobe is a living representative of kind of what that lifestyle is at its apex. And you see all these white women and coming at him sideways. These are the same liberal white women that's got a track record of black dick, but they want to sit here and try to say Kobe's a rapist. They actually want to put that out there, which quite frankly that's slander because those charges were dropped. But and that's another thing. In fact, that's something I may do my video on as well. A video on, not talking about that situation. I hate to bring that up, but to really explore what happened after that situation and how a lot of white folks turned on him, because that's a good lesson for folks that are SYSBM, that this is a lonely road. And this is why it's important for black men that are like-minded to stick together, because quite frankly, um this idea, it doesn't matter what the what they call the maggles or the pro-black say. I don't care what they say. But what I am saying is, do not be under. This is why I've always brought up Xanatos Clutch, because he's a good example of what I'm talking about when I say this. Do not be blinded to how these other folks are. I'm not saying everybody is a certain way, but let's not act like, oh well, racism doesn't exist. It's just don't play that game, because Kobe was a living representative of what people are talking about, and you can see how they're having these little slick disses with him. You can see how they tried to play him in the NBA when they screwed up that trade. People forgot David Stern just passed away, 2 weeks ago, and David Stern basically effectively ended Kobe's career as far as his pursuit of greatness by blocking that Chris Paul trade. And that was after that situation had happened. So you don't all of a sudden not become a black man because remember, Kobe was on the, he's international. And even though he was universally loved, he still had to deal with some of the racism that had to do with being a black man. I mean, it wasn't overt because obviously he had money. He was smart, so he did what he did. But let's not act like the NBA didn't try to play him on some shit that they shouldn't have tried to play him on. I remember when the Lakers kept on not wanting to pay him. Um, I remember all of that. So I'm not gonna forget any of that. And sometimes you have dudes that they will like to have convenient amnesia. And that's not going to help you in getting the goals you need to get. But that's on another subject. As far as going back to this public relations thing, the zillennials are going to have to deal with the fallout of stuff that they had nothing to do with, and that's unfortunate. That's not our fault. That's the women's fault. But the problem is they won't acknowledge that. What they're doing, what some of them are doing, a lot of them, most of them are doing, is they are absorbing the same issues, the same bad doctrine that led a lot of millennial women to where they are now. The difference between ex women and millennial women is a lot of the laws started to rotate as far as Section 8 and stuff is not as available. So now they're losing, and then Aziz are not gonna have access to any of that shit at all, like the zillennial women, the millennial women did. So now they're kind of running into a buzzsaw because now the millennial women killed the stepdaddy market. The millennial women killed basically the gates are completely down, and they have done nothing but basically give black men any reason but not to stay, every reason to leave. And now these millennial women are dealing with the fallout of that. And I just hate to say it, the millennial women are going to basically suffer. They are going to run into a buzz saw. Now hopefully it's going to be so bad that they will actually they'll have no choice but actually to adjust or change, because they're not going to just want to keep jumping off a damn cliff, because these dudes don't care. That pro black stuff does not work anymore. They do not care. They don't. Because and for God, for dudes that value keeping a race intact, the problem is you all like that shaming is not going to work because there's nothing behind it. So the public relations when it comes to black women and hypocrisy and all of that, it's just it's I mean, BGS said it. Like and said it too. It's in fact, shout out to Nikolai on she was in the last like maybe 30 minutes of the art video. She said it. Like with what her dad was saying. Like a lot of black men, a lot of older black men, they're looking at black women on some kind of horrified shit. Like this, like a lot of dudes that, they're still cultured in a certain way, they're looking at black women like, I don't know what this is anymore. Like when you honestly look at the situation, you can't defend it unless you're delusional. Gab, you can't defend this unless you have your head so far up your fucking ass, or unless you're purposely deciding. Like for instance, I live in North Carolina. If I were to turn YouTube off and I would have, or I pretend, if I didn't travel like travel United States, or if I haven't been where I've been as far as where I grew up, how I grew up, and I decided I'm just going to pretend that the world immediately around me is the world, then yeah, I might come to the conclusion it can't be that bad. But we are not all interconnected with the all community like that unless you've been somewhere. And what you have is you have dudes that they know if they open that door and they see all of the apocalypse, the Walking Dead shit outside, they say, no, I'm going to close the door because I need to protect my little bubble. I need to protect mentally how I view the world, because I can't. It's kind of like how these white folks used to be with Obama. I couldn't stand that Obama was president because what that meant for me and my whiteness, I just couldn't take it. It's the same thing with how a lot of black men and black women act. They choose to put their head in their ass or in the sand because even though they want things to improve, They ultimately don't want to actually reach into the filth that's necessary and pull what's out. So they get into what I call functional delusion on certain topics. They may have common sense on other topics, but when it comes to these topics, they just say don't talk about it. Now the house may be on fire, but don't talk about it's not on fire because that's complaining, because that's not productive, whatever bullshit that they tell themselves. Now, when you look at where black women are now from a public relations standpoint, that is really what the result of doing that shit is. And it's only going to get worse. Now you have some people are horrified. Like I could really empathize with what some of these dudes were saying. Like, and I'm not even talking about the dudes that were just outraged, as far as like the Kobe stuff that's my age. I'm talking about some of the older dudes. They were horrified to hear some of this stuff. And here's the thing. In a real community, there would have been pushback. Like right now, you really only hear dudes pushing back, but there would have been women saying, look, you know, you don't have to agree with it, but to sit here and then say some shit to make an example, number one, that's not a good look. It doesn't matter what, even if you're not decent, understand that that's not smart. That'd be another good title. It's not smart to be seen as the women that when somebody of your race dies, you're the women is basically sound looking like you dance on the grave. That's not a good look, even if you're somebody that advocates for black women dating now. Because nobody wants a bitter bitch. Nobody wants a bitter bitch. Not really to be with. They may fuck a bitter bitch, but they don't want to be with a bitter bitch. And a big problem is our women have this kind of reflex. They have this reflex that they've developed on getting on television or getting on social media now and attention whoring by basically saying niggas ain't shit. And they don't understand that you're being judged because you're raising the same niggas ain't shit that you complaining about. And these non-black men are judging you based on that. This is why you all only get certain types of non-black men. This is why y'all have seen as just to have sex with. This because they're looking at that. Going back to what O'Shea said as far as the not respect, that shit is true in reverse too. It looks goofy. And they never understand that because they think people are laughing with them when in actuality they're laughing at you. And the results are the results. Like interracial marriage hasn't increased past 5% ever. Like one time, and that's it. And it's remained the same as far as black women are concerned. Why that is not because black women are loyal, it's because it's telling you that the market is kind of telling you what it is. Unless you're like a chick that's like an 8, 9, or 10, people are not really interested like that unless they're just trying to do the very shit that black men get accused of doing. Yeah, Chi-Town, she said nature. That's what she said. I asked her an open question. We were quiet, and then she said nature. She said black men should be with black women because that's nature. So first of all, we're not this different. Races are not different species. Again, it's feminist, colorist, intersectionalism garbage. I'm not even somebody that's like, oh man, you should date out, blah, blah. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying is I'm an advocate for common sense and the truth. And if you really believe that, and another thing that when I even got off, fundamentally, when you listen to stuff that she was saying, what she was communicating was, and I even said this, even though she said it in reverse, I told her, I said, look, everything that you're saying is really communicating to me that your line of questioning is about what is wrong with black men, not what is wrong with you. And everything in your kind of mindset is that there's something wrong with black men and there's nothing wrong with, like, maybe not her personally but like her situation. Oh, another thing I'm going to say, and then I'll get to you all's comments real quick, even though it's not that lot, is this. um Once she said she was out of Los Angeles, that's all I needed to hear. I know Art said he's in LA. I get that. you know I was born technically in LA. I was born in Dominguez Hospital in Compton. I just don't say I'm from there because I left when I was 4 years old, but I have family out there. But you know, all you had to tell me was you're from California. California is literally and which is once real gentrification happens, that's when genetic gentrification happens. That's the last thing. Um, and most of your colorism channels are out of LA, out of California actually, and because it's statewide, but out of California. So you're literally in the worst, one of the worst areas to be a black woman trying to date for two reasons. Number one, the most beautiful people are gonna descend into LA for their own same reasons, like Miami and stuff. Number two, because everybody's trying to be in the damn you talk about international, everybody's trying to be in Hollywood or be connected or sub-connected to that shit. So even amongst black people, black women, it's gonna be very, high end. Number two, cost of living is insane. So, it creates a lot of the basic hypergamy rules. So economics matters. It's not just looks. Economics actually matters in California because of how much it costs to live there. Um, she was talking about Orange County, which I don't give a damn what you say. It ain't supposed you can't. It's a small percentage of black people in Orange County. I don't give a damn what you try to say, because they don't like too many black people in Orange County, Anaheim, that area. Let's cut the bullshit. And it's not even a lot of black people in SoCal anyway. But as soon as she said she was out of law, and that's not enough because you're literally in probably the hardest market. You're in the hardest market that's still viable. And California is very in probably the hardest market that could be considered viable for black women to have dating options. Now, if she was in Atlanta is not an easy market either, but she probably have an easier time in Atlanta. She probably have an easier time anywhere else in the country. She would probably, I would argue, have a little bit easier time in Miami, even though Miami's not easy, than she would in Atlanta. I mean, in LA. Now she's 22, so I guess she wouldn't know that. But that's the first thing I would have told her. I would have said, you kind of, I get that your parents probably wanted you to be close to home and all of that, but you kind of messed up staying close to home. Because real talk, if you would have been in probably anywhere else on the planet, if I'm gonna take her at face value that she does a lot of what she said she did, she would have an easier time getting the type of dudes that she wants. Because market matters. I would have said you should have took your ass to Houston. That would have been kind of a good little. It'd be different enough, but similar enough with a couple of different demographics. So once she said that from a tactical standpoint, that's your problem. Like all this shit about, well, will Latinas have attitudes? A justification for black females to act the way they act, and it's a justification to not acknowledge how what they do affects it. Here's the thing: I'm not telling you what you should or should not do, but what I am saying is you have to understand that the outcomes are the outcomes. If you are clearly getting a certain outcome, or you're clearly getting certain feedback, I used to take calls for a living in a call center, and we got surveyed. And it didn't matter if I felt like I had an attitude or not, or if I thought I had good customer service. If the customers are telling me in my surveys that they don't feel my customer service is great, it doesn't matter what my opinion is. That's what the customer is clearly telling me. And it's funny because I used to actually think, wow, man, I'm giving some of these customers the business. And then some of my supervisors used to tell me that too. But my surveys were always really, really good. They were always like in the 90 percentile, whether you did it 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 13 weeks. So, and we got a lot of surveys. So and I used to get a lot of surveys too. So at the end of the day, if my issue resolution scores are high and the customers are saying it's good, and they're satisfied, and literally I'm getting a couple comments here and there saying what I did, then clearly the customers are vibing with what I say. Like a lot of people did. And it's funny because in the manosphere, people will try to comment on how I sound or how I talk. And a lot of that was forged in a call center. It was forged in customer service. So I had to always tailor how I sound and what I do towards basically, getting paid. That's what that is. It has nothing to do with, oh man, you need to put some bass in your voice and da 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 da. No, that's where that comes from. So whatever. But the point is, the outcome is the outcome. If clearly you're getting feedback and it's saying the same thing across different variables, because it's 'cause like I said before, it's one thing, oh well, black women say this. Okay, well, are non-black women saying this about you? Are Latin women, white women, Indian women, you know what I'm saying? If it's only black women, then clearly that's a segment issue. But see, we always want to pretend because the black community is the only thing that exists the way black people make it sound like, then nothing else matters. Now, these men, now here's the funny thing about that, the earlier part of that video, because she came up like maybe like a third of the way into it. She had all of this stuff to say about Latin men. She had, oh, well, Latin men, they take care of their own, they have sex with their own. And God forbid MS-13, God forbid the Mexican mafia, God forbid the Cholo shit. She wanted to idealize what Latin men do. Now, my first thing is, if you think Latin men are so great, maybe you need to get with one. And I'm dead serious. I wasn't playing. Well, I don't tell to be with a black person. No, 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 no. Because here's the thing. The problem is you all have these ideals about other races of men. If you all are not dating them and dealing with them, then you all really don't know what the deal is. You all are just that's some grass is greener bullshit. And I'm telling you right now, you need to go in and deal with one and see how they treat you. Maybe it's great, maybe it's not. But the point is, you sitting here idealizing other men and not understanding. Because I asked her, because another question I asked her, and y'all gonna love this, because I'm about to wrap this up in maybe 15, 20 minutes. I asked her, okay, how much, so do you believe, now keep in mind, I asked her this. I said, so do you believe that, I said, what percentage of control do you think Latin men have over their community? Like, and that's why I didn't even give her an answer. I just said, what do you believe Latin men control their community? That's what I asked her directly. She said 50-50. She said that this tells you everything. This is a 22-year-old black sister, young lady, black lady out of California. I asked her that question, and she said that she believes that Latin men and Latin women equally control their communities. That is what she said. This was no argument. This was no back and forth. I asked her that direct question, and that's what she said. Now because after she said all that about with Latin men, then I asked her. I said, okay, um, what percentage of control do you think black men or black women have in the community? And then what she said nobody controls the community in the black community. And I said, I told her she was being disingenuous, but I said, the level of delusion. This is why the situation is what it is. Like, you're gonna tell me all the stuff that Latin men do, and you interpret that as it's 50-50. But see, this is somebody that believes that patriarchy must be some Muslim shit. So in her mind, that's what she thinks it is. And that gives you an idea. This is a young chick now. This is not an older chick. It's not a bitter chick. I can hear in her voice, she ain't been digged down. She ain't got the 1,000 dead eye stare yet. She ain't been, fucked up yet, right? This is a chick that, it's always funny with these young chicks that they could, even when they, especially these California girls. There was a girl by the name of Black Nostalgia that she used to sound the same when they young, like they ain't been broken into yet. And they have these little young kind of feminist idealistic thoughts that they don't really know what it is and what it ain't yet. And I always find that's kind of cute in a way, as long as they ain't acting like deity smart aleck as hell or some shit like that. But yeah, and I love asking open-ended questions, because when you ask, especially when BGS is on there, because he'll close them in. But if you ask open-ended questions, you really get an idea of what they actually think, about something. and how their brain works. Yeah, Black King, deep down, she might know that, but that's not what she believes. And that's what's important, because what people believe is what you're working with. So I believe that she thinks that. I do believe she think. Now, if you actually walk it through logic, you're right. But I actually believe she thinks that. I don't believe she just came up there and said she was going to lie. And I actually believe, now I think she's being disingenuous a little bit with the black community. But you got to remember, black women cannot bring themselves to tell themselves they control a community. Because if you say I control, black women as a group control a community, then as a group you have to own what happens in the community, and black women can't do that. You can't be a victim and you control a community. So that's always a psychological conflict that black women will, on a very repulsive level, they will be repulsed by that. They will physically reject that argument, because that means they're not the victims, they're the victimizers. That means a lot of this is their fault. And they just psychologically can't do that. That cannot psychologically work in their own psyche. It just won't work. And it doesn't matter how old you are, how young you are. That doctrine can, it's like me telling you God isn't real. If I tell a Christian that God is not real and I keep pushing that on them, they're gonna have a psychological repulsive response to that, because they've been ingrained with an ideology to say, I mean, I'm a Christian, but I'm just saying. I'm giving an example of how, you know, pervasive that is. But that's what she said. She said, nah, y'all think, see, y'all, that's the difference between y'all and me. Y'all are saying here's the thing, man. Even if she is lying, arguing, like, arguing and arguing with them, um, y'all gotta learn how to start asking these chicks questions, because the answers that they give is a lot more damning than you all having these like rebuttals. And look, I know this is me talking, so I get it, but these rebuttals, it's more important for you to ask them questions and hear what they say than it is, because it's more damning coming out of their mouth. See, if you sit there and say it, they can all people can always act like, oh, well, that's just a back and forth. But if you let them say it and you guide it with questions, these are not the questions I asked her was not good. None of the questions I asked her was gotcha questions. They were not intended to be gotcha questions. They were intended to be a learning experience and to see where she was. Like I said, I asked her, I said, so you, because I didn't ask her about Latin men, she did. She was like, well, Latin men deal with their own, and Latin men they spend their money with their community. First of all, Latin is not a race. That's number one. Shout out to Mr. Research. It's not a race. It's basically rotated around the Spanish language. A Maryland Negra, okay, so a Latin man can get with a Maryland Negra and say that's a Latina. No, she's black. Let's cut the bullshit. But see, they can do that. So now they got all of these races that operate in like this same Indo group that they call Latin. That's no. No, that so first of all, that on its own. Now, if we're gonna talk about Mexicans in particular, that's a little bit different. But even amongst Mexicans, there are darker Mexicans, there are more Indian ethnic Mexicans, and there are white Mexicans. That if y'all seen Bad Boys for Life, the woman that was the ex of Will Smith, that is a Euro white Mexican, straight like that, Spanish Spaniard. Because all white people, all Euros ain't the same ethnicity either at all. There's quite a few. Eastern and Western Europeans are not the same. But people don't think about that, because when you talk about race and fucking nature, you're talking about what you were taught, and you've never operated outside of that. Again, she's young, whatever. But you got older women that operate under that same mindset. These are the motherfuckers that be listening to Paris, and they be hearing Paris's dumbass shit. And then they go out in the world, and then the world doesn't work. The world, they think the world works according to Paris Milan, and Chrissy don't understand the world don't work like that, especially in California, and they're looking goofy as hell. A lot of these chicks, that's loser talk. And by the way, even Jason Black would say that, because at the end of the day, Jason Black might not tell them go the angle that we went, But Jason Black would have straightened her out too. Anyway, so let's go through some of y'all shit. Let's see. Yep, yep. This is this insomniac hour. Chi-Town System says, SYBM says, well, nature is not doing a good job bringing black men and black women together. Huh, that's funny. That's actually a really good point. But you know what they would say, Chi-Town, SYSBM? They would say that that's the media promotion. And the reason they would say that's the media promotion is it affects black men in the same way it affects black women. Black women are the biggest contributors to this. By the way, Kobe did not get along with his own mother. That's why you don't. If you notice, you're not gonna hear his mother because he didn't get along with his mother. His mother's black, but see, a lot of people don't talk about that either. See, you ain't got no black women that's gonna talk about that shit. Go look that up. Kobe and his. And by the way, if you want to say, "Oh, well, that's just Kobe," no, Chris Bosh don't get along with his mom. Remember NBA young boy? Like you starting to see a lot of this. Like, see, for SY, you would think I'm gonna keep. Ooh, people would get mad at me if I do this. But real talk, if I was gonna do trending news, I would do NBA YoungBoy. I would do the Chris Tucker, not Chris Tucker, Chris Bosh situation. NBA YoungBoy. There's a lot of situations out there where a lot of these dudes don't get along with their moms, man. And that shit gets. See, the media doesn't talk about that because that's not a good look. They're bitter because they are not seeing that money. It's a lot of reasons they're bitter. The money is a part of it, but not the whole thing. Abortion, black men. I mean, yeah, man. I mean, there's a cut now. That's a minority too, but you got some hardcore evil bitches out there, man, where they just have a deep seated hatred for black men. And the abortion thing, I've come up now. See, here's the funny thing about that, and yes, I am saying it's funny. Um, Two things with that. Number one, you know, you got a black women out here that don't want to have girls either. So a lot of black women are not aborting. See, if you look at the actual statistics, black men and black women are basically born. That's not why the reason why there's less black men and black women is not because of abortion. It's actually because of as you they actually start up, and BGS can support this because he looked at the stats. Black men and black women basically start up at like 40, like 49, like 48, like 52 off gate. And that's just dynamics of any group, right? And what happens is as the ages get older, because of how what black boys go through and what black males go through, the numbers dwindle. So abortion would be at the startup point, and that's not true. That's number one. Number two is you'd be surprised how many women that don't want girls and be having abortion. The other thing is, black women have already had 15 million, about 15 million abortions since 1973. They have more than any other race by damn near count. That's for a couple of reasons, but women are going to have to hold that L. So the point is, they're already having abortions. So this idea of threatening aborting boys, okay, and I'm gonna keep it all the way real with you. Um, first, I'm gonna keep it all the way real with you, like real talk. Number one, if you're really thinking like that, then that tells me the level. And see, that's another thing. See, you hear what a lot of black men are saying with Kobe, but at the same time, um, and you see how horrific it is. Imagine if that shit came out. And by the way, I ain't seen no women come out. I ain't seen no really big women come out here and say what Crystal Squirrel said was reprehensible. They're relatively quiet about it. They're relatively quiet about it. But I didn't look at her because I wouldn't look at a chick like that, dude. I don't sit here and listen to females that are obviously on some fuck shit like that. I don't even listen to a lot of female channels anymore. But like when it comes to I wouldn't even begin to do that. I'm not no. Um, but but that's not gonna. I mean, like, dude, all only thing that like, first of all, black men really don't care like that. I mean, if that's really what you want to do, I mean, do you? I mean, black men don't really. This idea that black men like, is that really what we're gonna do next? Y'all gonna start saying, well, we're gonna abort your sons? Okay, well, black men are not fucking you like that. I mean, we, you have other melanated black women that are not ADO. So if American black women are gonna operate like that, then my this is what kills me. What kills me is if you really feel that way, then why sleep with black men in the first place? This is where the me saying black women should date non-black men comes in. Why would you sleep with black men? Like, think about what that sounds like. Think about that. You're pretty much acknowledging that as a woman, you use abortion as a tool of control. That's an animal. Like straight like that. Like you, because what it really says is you actually have this idea. They see this is where people always say Minister Jap is out of fucking control. But real talk, that's the type of shit that Minister Jap would be like, yeah, that makes sense. I that makes sense. They would say that. So yeah, I've heard that, and as the years go on, you're gonna see women get that bold because these women, this shit is normal, and a lot of these dudes that would normally like I call them the black guru types. That's what I was thinking when Nikolai was thinking like her dad and stuff. They're horrified at how a lot of these women are acting. And even BGS said it. As much of the issues he dealt with his like the women in as far as that he had kids with, they not on this shit. This is some overt like evil shit. And the issue is nobody is telling these chicks they need to tell them, no, bitch, it's you. You need to look at the fucking mirror and kind of look at what the fuck looks back. Cause right now you on some insidious shit right now. That the narcissism, and I've heard that, and that's that lipstick alley bullshit. Oh, we're gonna abort your babies and that. I'm like, nigga, like some of these dudes will walk you to the abortion clinic because they never want to have it. Oh, we're gonna abort your sons. We're gonna abort yours. I'm like, okay, that's like. So, question: do you really think that having a message saying that you're gonna abort somebody's son there? Because the pro blacks are not gonna defend. They can't defend that. Because now these women are basically like, I want to see a pro black nigga defend some shit like that, and they won't. They can't. Or they might try, but whatever. And again, most black men that are on that don't give a shit anyway. Because the thing is, American black women are a very small percentage of black women. So that does not. Again, that a good is that a good public relations comment? How does that make you look? Well, the reason why we said we're going to abort black boys is because, well, what does the boys have to do with what the men are doing? Oh, well, that and here's another thing. Her name is Crystal Swirls. So by her last name, she wants to swirl. Yet she has this anger towards a black man doing something that she does. That's the first thing I kind of thought when I heard her name. No, you right. I don't think I don't think you Black King. I agree with that. I don't think they would hit him not like that. Kobe. Kobe had his haters, but Kobe with white folks, but white folks. You got Trump style white folks defending Kobe Bryant against some of these liberal bitches. They're doing it under the gauge of social justice warrior. Because you got to remember, Kobe was not really political like that. So you didn't hear Kobe talking about white supremacy shit like that. So Kobe's not gonna get the same. And plus, you gotta remember too, Kobe didn't date a white chick; he dated a Latin chick. So Kobe's not gonna get the same angst from a lot of white folks that other people would, because he wasn't seen as like a threat like that. So you got to remember that ironically, a lot of the people that are going at Kobe are like liberal white women and liberal folks, which is interesting to me. Yep, Jonathan, it is functionally delusional. Because I talk to a lot of brothers that on this topic they get stupid, but on other topics they're good. I mean, I feel bad for these black women. I really do. I got a lot of young, but you know but they'll be all right. Yeah, Man Code says TV says I don't even support Terry Crews like that. Make sure y'all like the video by the way too. I don't support Terry Crews like that, but Amanda Seals used Terry Crews. Is that all they do on that show? Yeah, that is all they do on that show because they know what their audience is and they know what's gonna get views. First of all, you use Terry Crews. Terry Crews has a simp card. You know, he's a card carrying simp dude. So again, number one, there is whatever. Black women don't even like Amanda Seals like that. So I'm not worried about what Amanda Seals says. I mean, the idea that black men don't support black women, I mean, in my opinion, black men support black women way too fucking much. We support black women at the expense of ourselves, and that actually needs to kowtow to a lot of sisters. A lot of sisters don't respect you anyway. So anything that you're doing is something they say you're supposed to do, so they don't respect it. Big game. Orenthal James says LA wouldn't be as bad. I got a black girlfriend and I'm from here. My girl is from the South though. Yeah. Yep. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, you still important because you're regionally important. Gotta remember, United States is a big place. United States is a very big place. So you basically had to get somebody from another region in the United States, from the other coast. So that should tell. So that's damn near soft shoe SYSBM. You soft shoe SYSBMing. Roger Report said, "I just saw that you're still up." Yeah, Roger. I'm just up for right now. You know, I decided to put it up. Ron Jeremy saying you sound like a poor person. Oh Jesus, we always got one asshole in here to say some goofy ass shit. Make sure you block that whatever he is. Because like this phone, yeah, Black King is done for black women. Is that if they're going to breed themselves out in most? I mean, yeah, I mean, but see, I said it. I said it before. Black King, or in Chi-Town. I said that black women do like only group of people that would say that is somebody that when you hear some women have that thought of I'm aborting men, that is a thought that you are a separate entity from men. You're separate. That's how you know they really think that shit. That's how you know they really think that shit. Well, what I'm yeah, Roger, I kind of agree but disagree. I mean, we don't you don't well, I don't know I'm not trying to say she would be susceptible. What I'm saying is, yeah, you're right. With that mindset, yes, she's gonna run into some issues. But LA is a buzzsaw. You're talking about you got to remember LA is the most one of the most competitive markets in the United States. I would argue it is the most competitive actually it is the most competitive because the difference between Los Angeles and Miami is nowhere near as expensive as Los Angeles. It's nowhere near overall as expensive. The state is expensive. There is no reprieve. You can't go nowhere else. I mean, unless you go out of state like Phoenix and LA. So you have economics at extremely high level. You have your social skills is very needed, and you have looks at an extremely high level on a global standpoint. Miami has that. Miami has some of the economics. Miami doesn't have the economics nowhere near as expensive as Los Angeles, let alone San Diego, let alone Orange County. I mean, no. So everything is at a hyper competitive level. So it's not so when you're a female, it's not even about like you can play the genetic value game, but the reality is the dudes that can economically compete in that environment, those dudes are going to be taken too, and they're going to be taken by other races. Also, there's a whole bunch of Asians. People forget how many California Asian chicks are down there that are getting more and more Americanized, which a lot of the white boys are dealing with. So a lot of the white chicks that will deal with the BBC, it's just hyper competitive. It's hyper competitive. So you can't afford to be on that bullshit. This is why most of your colorism channels come out of California, because they don't get to get the weirdo black kid, or what they want to consider the on point brother, that he's on some different shit, like Ulysses and stuff. Ulysses, that like they're gonna people are gonna win there if they don't win nowhere else, because of the culture in California. That's what Ulysses was talking about, that Concrete didn't want to hear. Because you gotta remember, I know Danielle is in Mississippi, where it's a lot of black folk, and it's racist. Like California I'm not saying California ain't racist, but California is different. So you can't play that game. You can't play well, I'm gonna put people in on the third string, and then pull them up as I get older and get baggage. No, that's not how it works. You can't play that game. You gotta pick. And I've heard this reflected in Paris as well as Chrissy, but particularly Paris, because she's like, well, dudes, the tech guys, they don't like me. No, they don't like you because you may not sound hoodish, but you got that vibe. You kind of reek of it. You reek of you like D boys, or you like what? Even though Paris played tennis, and she even said she dated white. She want to try to play the pro black game now, but again, a lot of women come back to the pro black shit because it's a way for them to try to regulate dick. They're pro black woman. They're not pro black. There's a difference, and that needs to kind of be called out. Um, it's in my community tab, Big Game Ornthal James, and shout out to the Roger Report. The Roger Report has been doing killer panels. I'm gonna tell you, Roger, if Roger can get more women to come on his channel, I mean, the dudes will definitely come, because dudes like the shadow box. I know I like the shadow box. Well, black women don't know what it is to be feminine. They don't. And most of these female coaches that are trying to be feminine coaches really are not willing. The only woman is really willing to tell black women like what it really is Ro Alori Cutno. And I'm not saying I agree with everything she says, but black women hate her because she's too brutal about it. The other women that want to play feminine, they're trying to play that to kind of get some better outcomes that they're getting. But yeah, the reality is they're not willing to tell them what they want to hear, what they don't want to hear. Yeah, a lot of yeah, because and it is what it is. Because again, nobody like you got to remember, nobody wants to have in the black community have a real honest conversation about what's going on where we are. Too many people are on this. Well, you need to be focused on something else. You just don't need to talk about it, or you talk about it too much. It ain't really that bad. So I'm like, okay, then if it ain't that bad, then it ain't that bad. I don't want to hear you tell me it ain't that it's bad, and then you sit here and then not want to have a conversation as to why. Well, brothers need to do what the fuck they need to do too. Dude, I'm telling you right now, we've been talking about what brothers need to do. So if your only answer is brothers need to do what the fuck they need to do, then that's code for I really don't want to talk about it. So don't talk about it. Let's just let things go to where they go. The dam is broke, let the river go where it goes. Cause you clearly don't care about dealing with it. Black King, they do fuck black chicks. They just don't want nothing to. No, absolutely. But yeah, that's absolutely true. I never said that these dudes don't fuck them. White men fuck black women, but it's well, and the Hispanics will tell you this, even at the point of pissing you off, that no, they just fuck them. Arabs say this, Arab men say this, Hispanic men say this, white men say this. Black women are for sex. Black women are not for a relationship. That's what they say. That's what they say. That's not what I'm saying. That's not black men telling them that. That's not SYSBM telling them that. These motherfuckers tell you that. They tell you that. They go out of their way to tell you that because they think they call themselves. And that's another reason why a lot of these females are mad too. Because you gotta see what they see Kobe, uh, they see Kobe and his wife, and they saw that, and then they see that they can't duplicate that like that on the other side. This is why you got a lot of these women living vicariously through other females that are in relationships with non-black men. They do look at other communities looking outside in Jonathan Morgan. Well, that fear, yeah, but Black King, they refuse to accept that. That's a psychological repulsion to them. So having black men lead, so it really is kind of over. So it is what it is. Exactly, Shot Town. You're right, class young man. People do need to travel. I mean, Hispanic women, you don't really hear them bash their men, but the way you got to remember the way a lot of other races of women rebel against their men is different. The way they rebel against their men is they start fucking other men. That's how they and black men are usually the men of choice to do that. And because men don't need validation like women do, men will be just good with being a sex object. And this is not just black men. It's true for white. It's true for every race of men. It's just black men. They don't know how to turn that page. It's like they're comfortable with only being a sex object. That's how they rebel. They don't talk a whole, but white women talk shit, but they keep it tempered. But what they do is they rebel by spreading the pussy around. Vern, that is correct. I mean, non-black men will date black women if they have themselves together. But dating is fucking casual sex is not the same as like really claiming. But I hear you. I understand that, but he didn't get along with his mom. And by the way, it's funny you mentioned Patrick Patterson, black young man, because that bulldog shit he was talking about, well, you saw it come out. Not only what that was a month ago. Kobe cut off his mother, father, and sisters off after he got ready to retire. Well, because hey, it is what it is, man. That says a lot about how they acted towards him. It's not his job to take care of them. It's their job to earn it. Other races understand that. Only black people tend to act like they're owed some shit. It is all recruitment material for SYSBM Spirit of Justice. That's why I keep saying, it doesn't matter what SYSBM does. The tide is on y'all side anyway. So y'all need to just let the money come in. Yep. Jessica X says there are more women than men in the world due to changes in men's sperm. Post 36. Fact, there will always be slightly more women than men. Thank you for saying that, Jessica X. That's absolutely true. But see, Jessica X, now you kind of can get a glimpse of the craziness that is the United States of America. Um, because a lot of times these are the situations when folks say the UK and the US are the same. No, they're not the same. Because you wouldn't get this same kind of shit. Um, it wouldn't be seen as that big of a deal in the UK. Not like that. Not for somebody that would be considered like a kind of a universal kind of, icon kind of thing. He might have had, yeah. I mean, Kobe's the type of dude. You got to realize you're gonna have to negotiate with him. You're not gonna be able to put the I'm your father, your mother shit. That he will fundamentally rebel against that, especially when you knew he had the power to do so. You're not gonna put that kind of matriarchal shit on him. He's going to reject that. And I know dudes that are like that. James Smith. No, that's not true. James saying they wouldn't allow gender specific abortion. That's not true. That's not true at all. A woman can get an abortion for whatever reason she wants to. It's her body, her choice. So yeah, I mean, there's nothing illegal about that. Kobe Anthony, Kobe said, on Instagram, the comments about Kobe Bryant on just for. I'm gonna keep it real with you. Like for the most part, on the social media that I'm on, I don't see a lot of black women saying stupid shit. You know, but then again, I distance myself aware of motherfuckers that say shit like that. Um, and you got to remember a lot of the, even though I say 80-20, when I say 20% of black women are within what I call realm of like common sense, you got to remember, even amongst that 80%, there's variability. What you're dealing with in that 80% is like the bottom, like 15%. These are the women that they just have deep seated hatred for black men, maybe because of daddy issues, because of a lot of shit that. But yeah, so it is what it is. It is. And by the way, if this was in reverse, imagine that if a black woman died and like Free Woodard or something, or even other black men would jump on that. You wouldn't see that. You wouldn't hear that. That's how I say. I always say, okay, if it was reversed, would this be allowed? And everybody knows it wouldn't be. What's up, Brenda? And that's one reason I go as hard as I go. Because my thing is, see, this is what these dudes never understand. A lot of these, and this is what I will put out there to like gabbing them. You all reputation. You think if a black woman says it, it must be true. The reality is black women are some of the biggest um representatives of a lot of the fuckery that they are the biggest representative of the fuckery we're talking about. This is not some shit where we're just projecting that onto them. They do it. So the women that are not like that have to suffer because of the black women that want to do what the fuck they want to do. This makes all black women look bad. It is like 15, not even 10% of black women. I ain't saying 10%. It's a very small percentage sample size of black women that are they're saying this shit about Kobe, but guess what? They're making them all look bad. But nobody gets that part. That's what kills me about these guys who want to put on a cape for sisters. I'm like, you don't understand that you're making black women ink look horrible. Everybody's seeing that. Look, everybody, look, I'm not letting white bitches off the hook either. I always tell y'all, do not go red pill for black women to be blue pill for non-black women, or whether it's white or whatever, because you see that with the slick disses with these white women. You see that. Kobe, you see how they tried to use that ugly white bitch that Kobe fucked. He cheated on his wife, and how they tried to use that in his career. Y'all see that was a Me Too situation way before Me Too. And see, I'm not gonna be blind to that shit at all. But that don't mean, but see, black women say, yeah, you shouldn't. But that don't mean I'm gonna sit there and then be blind to the fuck shit that goes on. At the end of the day, there is no one size fits all solution. Kobe made the best choice for himself, and it worked out. Yeah. I don't know if that's true Black Hoops Strikes, but I don't have that data. So I'd be interested to look at that. No, UFO, what Jessica's saying is actually true. It is more women on the planet than men. BGS has confirmed that. Other people's confirmed that. I don't know what you. Yeah, Jessica, you got motherfuckers that they'll listen to the most gutter shit. You would, Kobe, but it doesn't matter because the way what they're this is what they don't like about Kobe. But a lot of these people that are like this don't like is Kobe is a representative of a success. So they see that as an L in it of itself. You look at a dude and he's getting, because people don't know what Kobe's foundations are doing. People don't know about that. But whatever. The point is, they see Kobe as successful, and then they see who he's with, and that's that representative of that 92 bullshit. All these, oh, but when you get money, you gonna leave me for a white girl bullshit. And they never look at why they keep on taking these L's though, because see, these women are looking at people like Kobe as utility. His wife didn't have a prenup. If his wife could have left Kobe at any time for any reason and took half his shit, because she's in California and he was completely exposed when it came to her. So she did not see that as a utility. This is what I so again, it is what it is. Well, I mean, I don't go to her channel. Why why would you even go to her channel? That's my thing. I mean, you know the type of people that listen to what the fuck she has to say. That's the end of that. True, but you know, Optimum that don't get nothing. Black men does get credit. Yep, that's true. Black that Black Huru, that is true, and that's what I said, kind of alluded to before. They have their own agenda, and you know, black men don't. When black men think of black people, we think of everybody. When black women think of black people, they think of themselves and usually their kids, really their girls. They've been operating on that for a long time now. So when people like when I was on Roger and you got Bianca, all these motherfuckers talk about a community. I'm like, no, there is no community because real talk, they're doing what the fuck they want to do. The reality is, unfortunately, you're in a situation where black men can't make you do shit. Be like, okay, I'm conquered, so I have to submit. No, you have to actually, you know, choose some of this stuff, and that's the problem. They can't understand that, and then they look at other communities and see stuff that they don't have, but don't know how that stuff is built, and then they idealize all of that. And my thing is, why don't you go over there because you're gonna see what you gonna the role you're gonna be expected to play. That's it. That's it. But it is. I mean, again, a lot. The main reason why I bring that up is because Kobe is pretty universally liked internationally. It's only amongst in America where there's some fuck shit, and so you got the racism when it comes to white folks, and then you got what these sisters, this matriarchal bullshit. That's really what you got. And then Kobe is like a poster child for a lot of these fucking females, the white females too, to kind of say, oh, well, he raped because you know they're pushing that agenda because they know if they push too many white dudes out there on that ledge, here's what you gotta realize with these liberal white chicks. You know good and well they're not allowed to really throw white men under the bus. They would never be allowed to say that about a white dude that died like that. That's an icon. If Roethlisberger kicks it, they are never going to be able to say that. The media is not going to support that. And it's not going to allow them to edit put that out there. But with Kobe, it's sanctioned. So it's like if you want to put this liberal shit out, this is how you do it. No, ain't no certain communities. There's a lot of violence, and ain't Jessica X. What Black Huru's saying is facts. That's documented, factual. You can look at charts and see that over time, in any metric with after 18. So ain't no possibly. That's a fact. That's a fact. What Black Huru said about the population diverging after 18. Y'all keep bringing Angry Man up. I gotta see what he said, but you know he's doing what he does. No, yeah, and this is how I know, like, a lot of you, like, oh, well, Hispanic men are this and that. When she said that 50-50 community shit, I mean, you know, this community, I don't know what the fuck you talking about. And that, you got to remember, black women in America, they have a projection problem. They project like a motherfucker. They project like a motherfucker. Like you can actually read a lot into how an American black woman thinks based on what she says about other people because she's projecting what she sees out. And that's a big issue. Yes, they do live out, like I said, they live vicariously through, and that's most of the audiences. It's what I call it's like interracial porn. It's like interracial novels, except online. This is why you can start an interracial channel and blow up. They will put hands on them, man. Cole, I don't know what the fuck these like again. Just because you don't see that out in the things, but see they and by the way, they even had that on that Aaron Hernandez documentary. Like I don't know the fuck like even but see that shit's cute when it like oh man, don't get me started. Like I said, the lack of honesty. Wow, Black Hoover Strikes. I would love for you to. I did not know that because I didn't know that because look, I'm not gonna look. I'm a fan. I was more of a fan of what Kobe was doing outside of basketball. I was a fan of him in basketball, but I wasn't like Kobe. You know, I got mad respect for Kobe, but I'm not gonna act like I had his jersey and all that. I was more of a Tracy McGrady person, but well, yeah. I mean, well, um, Black Hoover Strike says it seems like the issue was Kobe's mother loathing of his wife, and apparently his father was caught in between and didn't handle the situation well. Well, if we're to go at what Black Hoover Strike says, I mean, pretty much, Kobe's mom basically fucked up the family because she couldn't handle basically over the same black female bullshit that we're hearing. My thing is, at the end of the day, those kids are half black, half Latin. They can go other black people, and really, it's about you trying to tell somebody what they gonna do. And I mean, if that's what happened, and I'm saying that not because I don't believe Black Hoover, I don't know, but going with what he's saying, then no wonder Kobe did what he did. What would you do, especially if you had that kind of money too? What would you do? And then Joe Bryant tried to balance the scales because I mean, obviously it's his wife, but what? Because here's the thing, and I get it because real talk, what is really he gonna do? Because that you're gonna get divorced if you just completely side with your son and say that's my son, so you're just gonna have to be mad. You gotta deal with that shit constantly. Yeah. Not handle it. Staying out of it is a decision as well. Because somebody like Kobe is going to, especially when you looked at how Kobe dealt with Shaq and how Kobe wanted to get traded. Kobe's kind of like Anakin Skywalker. You're either with me or you're not. Fuck that. I'm out of it, boys. You don't get to play Switzerland. Kobe's not, I can tell you right now, Kobe's not a Switzerland dude. He's like, look, no, 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 no. I'm the only one that can play Switzerland. You don't get to play that. You picking a side. You either on the allied or Axis powers. You're not playing neutral. And if you're gonna play neutral, you're an enemy. I know the mentality that Kobe had with that. I could definitely see that. Yeah, Jessica, it's a lot of stuff that does not get talked about. So when motherfuckers bring shit up on social media, you got to remember, especially on the female side, they comment on how they feel now. They're not looking at the facts, or they'll feel a certain way and look for the facts to validate how they feel. So they tell narratives. So they look for information and then don't talk about information that would counteract what they really feel. Yeah, I don't know what anybody talk about. You can't board specific. Exactly, Black Hoover Strikes. And that's probably what you mean about not handling it well. Because staying out of it is a cop out. No, and I'm sorry, that sucks. But you gotta she's in the wrong. She's in the wrong. Because it's like that's your son. That's what kills me. I'm like, you got other kids, but see, I'm gonna tell you something. The question is, he's got sisters. So do you really believe that she probably had an issue like that if they would have been with a non-black person? No, that was some control shit, and Kobe wasn't having that shit at all. Well, I mean, ain't nobody see, and that's another thing. Nobody's out here saying that all women are better. That's not what people are saying. That's why it's BM is about selecting the best choice for you, no matter what that is, female wise. That's what it's always been about. Like people want to project this interracialism because they want to deflect from the fact that black women are really not. black women are, for the most part, not necessarily the best choice because they have a contempt for their men in the United States. I'm sorry. And nobody wants to deal with that, so they keep on wanting to get around that. No, Maya Angelou, ain't nobody saying that. Cause you don't hear black men bring it up. Like the fact that these women took it as an opportunity to say that. Cause here's the thing. Here's my thing. I would ask any female. I would ask that Crystal Floral chick. So here's the thing. What is your goal? Is your goal to rally up the ladies with some red meat? Because black women that are fucking black women are fucking black men that black women that are fucking black men are fucking them for sexual value. Black men are not fucking black men for nothing but for their own sexual satisfaction. That's a fact. So the question becomes why? Are you think it's a good look for black men? You think that you sitting there telling Kobe, talk about Kobe is gonna make black men feel a certain type of way about you? As far as, oh well, maybe I shouldn't be like Kobe. Like, I don't understand that. Like, what is the mindset behind that? Boy, you think you're gonna convince black women to stop fucking black men? They already fucked the men they wanna fuck. What was the goal of the video? No, the goal of the video is probably get her feelings out. I can believe that, but at the end of the day, Jessica, black men don't have to cater to that. Black men, like Kobe did the right. Like, here's the thing: Kobe did the right thing. Kobe chose his wife and his future over his past. That is probably one of the. And by the way, y'all keep saying, I told y'all, based on this conversation we're having with the damn Kobe thing with his mom. What was the situation with Bad Boys for Life at the end? What happened at the end when he found out what his the villain found out the lies that his mom was telling him? He made a different decision. He broke from his past. And he saw that everything he was doing was not him. It was for his mom. It wasn't even for his own ambitions. It was something that he was told to do by a story he was told by his mom. Off some vengeful shit that his mom was on. Eve. Same shit. And by the way, they want to act like women don't be passing down generational curses. Yeah, I've seen that because BGS has talked about that. He talked about that a couple of years ago. And I didn't know. I didn't, it's not that I didn't know. I just didn't pay attention to it. But yes, it is shocking. It is. And this is, and by the way, Black Huru, this is why they never compare stats of black women to black men. It's always stats of men to black men to other males, black women to other females, because that's when it makes them look like the victim. Because if you compare the stats to black men to black women, it will be very obvious that the money flowing through black women like it is literally designed a certain type of way. It's not designed to help the group that needs the most help. Exactly. And I've said this before. I said Vanessa Bryant is the real MVP because she didn't have to do that, but she did. Well, the projected shit, I appreciate you agreeing with me, but that's absolutely true. I mean, if you want to know what a black woman thinks, just go if you want to know what a black woman thinks, just hear how she talks about other people, and that's her projecting the black. I mean, I'm curious, what do you mean when you say off the court I can't say the same? So what issues do you have with him off the court? I'm not saying Kobe Bryant was perfect. Yeah, what the fuck? I remember that Alpha Omega. I remember that. I remember that. And I bet you, and I'm gonna tell you right now, I bet you what happened. I bet you what happened is they tried to pull a lot of the same shit. You gotta remember, Kobe didn't play with his money with nobody. He didn't play with the Lakers with his money. So I bet you ass and Kobe wasn't having that shit, not like that, and then they got bitter. I already know what that was. I remember that too when they sold this high school jersey. I remember that. You can Black Hoover Strike. She looked like that chick that can't be told shit. And that's another thing about a lot of these chicks too. A lot of women too. You, when a in a proper family, when the power is, you get to a point where you become an elder. But let make no mistake, the actual power is with the kids. And what happens is you got a lot of women, our women don't know how to fall into that role. They get into this role where they think they telling motherfuckers what to do. And they again that's that matriarchal shit. And Kobe is not was not having that shit. I appreciate that, Notorious G. I'm not talking about that, Carlton. What I'm talking about, because you keep saying he wasn't indoctrinated. Okay, that or not keep saying that's true, but that does not mean. I mean, you clearly see, you see what because his family, like Joe Bryan, is a black man. His mother is a black woman, so it doesn't matter. Yes, he grew up in an environment, but he was still in that household. And you see how he rejected that household. So just because he grew up in Italy, don't mean he was not dealing with some African American shit. I mean, hey, I don't give a shit about what Meghan Markle did. I mean, she did what everybody predicted. She did it a lot faster though. That's what I think. I mean, I could care less. But that shit happened a lot faster than I thought it would. Kobe and Lil Wayne are two different people. Let's keep that all the way real. Yeah, which is hypocrisy. I've never understood that. Yep. I mean, you see that. And what happens is it gets shoved under the carpet. You see it when you look back and you start, you know what to look for. It shit just gets shoved under the carpet. People, because they tell you this is not important. Yeah, you ain't missing nothing, Ty City. She did, Carlton. She definitely represented that brand. Hell, she represented that brand better than a lot of white women because white women are big on getting divorced too. I mean, but that's some basketball shit. I mean, at the end of the day, that's some men shit. They got over that. I mean, you see the same thing was going on with Ray Allen and other people on the Celtics. I mean, that shit happens. That was public, but that shit happens. Oh my god, yeah, you're right. Like I said, I mean, no, what kills me is the same motherfuckers that's talking about black wealth. I gotta do that stream. I gotta do that stream, y'all. That's coming Saturday. The same motherfuckers that's talking about black wealth are the same motherfuckers giving away the most money to non-black people. That stream is coming, and that shit's gonna be lit. Be ready for it. I'm getting BGS. I'm getting everybody on that bitch. Be ready. Have your donations ready to the church. I might get my super chat turned on soon. No, notorious. No, absolutely with Meghan Markle. No, I mean, but I told you what I think. I mean, I used to watch Meghan Markle with Suits, And I love the representation in that show. I like the show first, but they even added more black people over time. So I was like, damn, y'all adding a lot of folks. Shout out to USA. But I know a lot about Meghan Markle, and I said what her dad said, which is kind of funny because this is a black woman that's married a white dude. And by the way, I don't know what her dad. I'm not gonna just call him a bottom shelf Brad, but they're getting these. I'm not saying you gotta get like these top of the line dudes, but they're getting these extra average deal. His mom could have probably got like a better looking black dude, but again, the white ice is colder. I guess I wouldn't say all that rebels though, but because there's a lot of guys that operate with that. But Kobe is somebody that you can definitely look at. Yeah, I mean, and by the way, you cannot justify that. You cannot justify Kobe's mom's behavior. Period. Period. You can't. And a lot of black men deal with shit like that, but they don't got the power to completely cut everybody off that. And by the way, if you think Kobe is unique, look up Chris Bosh's situation. His mom, look at LeBron James and look at his mom. I'm not saying all these women are like that, but I'm saying, man, come on. These are like, come on, man. Exactly. Yes, they would, man, code. Yes, they would, man, code. They would say that with Meghan Markle. Meghan Markle is at best only 25% black. And the problem, and see, that's another thing too. You don't see these women come at the women that are swooning over Meghan Markle. But if Kobe would have been with another, like, let's keep this all very real. I would argue that that Vanessa Bryant probably has maybe more melanin in her than Meghan Markle. Chris Bosh became he became like he redeemed himself with that. And by the way, look at where the teammate is that he's sleeping with, that she slept with. By the way, I can believe that rebels though. I could believe he didn't respect his dad. Yep, it would have been colorism. And if you don't believe me, if you think I'm a liar, Paul, or man code, go look at Tyrese's situation. Go look at Tyrese's wife and go look at Meghan Markle and look at how they reacted towards Tyrese. Then go look at how and to be fair, most black women rejected Kamala, but a lot of these same females are trying to tell you to not these keep in mind, these same chicks were the same chicks that are telling you that you're jealous of Kamala being with her white husband slash Jewish husband. They were saying it doesn't matter that Kamala Harris is with a white man. You should vote for her anyway because she's the best candidate. That's what they were saying. These same people. It's funny, man. Like I said, man, don't make me start making my timelines. But anyway, y'all, this has been going on for a while. I appreciate y'all, being on here. Um, I might. I'm kind of under review because I didn't have my super chat thing, so my super chat will be on down hopefully later on. Hopefully they don't reject me over me keep talking about too much real shit. No, absolutely Notorious G. I'll subscribe, I'll check out your channel. And yeah, let me see. Hold on. I'm gonna add Kev as a moderator. I'll do that since I see you. I can add one. Madco TV, you're pretty good. Add you as a moderator. Add Black Who Strikes as a moderator. I gotta tell y'all, man, if y'all peace.